The stars shone brightly over the command center in Geneva. Admiral John Carter looked out the window at the night sky. He had been in charge of Earth's space forces for 15 years now. In that time, humans had built small colonies on Mars, Europa, and a few planets around other stars. The farthest one was called Nova Haven, orbiting a star named Tau Ceti. Most alien races thought humans were weak. Earth showed them only simple ships and basic weapons. This was on purpose. After centuries of fighting each other, humans had learned to hide their true strength. They pretended to be newcomers to space travel, barely able to defend themselves. But deep in secret bases on Earth and hidden throughout the solar system, humanity built its real fleet. Ships with weapons that could destroy stars, armor that could withstand almost any attack, engines that bent space itself, all kept hidden just in case. Admiral Carter hoped they would never be needed. The alarm on his desk beeped loudly. It was 3 a.m. Earth time. Carter pressed the button to answer. "Admiral, we have an emergency signal from Nova Haven," said the night duty officer, her voice tight with worry. Carter sat up straight. "Put it through." The screen on his desk flickered to life. The face of a young colony officer appeared. The image was fuzzy and kept breaking up. Explosions could be heard in the background. "Geneva Command, this is Nova Haven. We are under attack. Unknown alien ships in orbit. They're bombing the colony. Hundreds dead already. We need immediate help. Our defenses can't stop them. Please, send..." The transmission cut off suddenly. Carter tried to reconnect, but there was nothing. "Get me satellite images of Nova Haven now," Carter ordered. The screen changed to show Nova Haven from orbit. 5 large ships of a design Carter had never seen before were positioned above the colony. Bright flashes showed where they were firing weapons at the ground. Half the colony was already destroyed. Carter's face hardened. He pressed an emergency button on his desk, one that had never been used before. Red lights began flashing throughout. "The command center. This is Admiral Carter. I am declaring Defense Condition 1. This is not a drill. Earth colony Nova Haven is under attack by unknown hostile forces. All command staff report to emergency stations immediately. Council members will meet in the secure war room in 30 minutes. As alarms sounded throughout the facility, Carter opened a secure drawer in his desk with his fingerprint. Inside was a small black device with a single red button. He pressed. Deep under the surface of Earth's moon, computers received the signal. Lights came on in a vast underground hangar that had remained dark for decades. Rows of massive warships began powering up, their sleek black hulls absorbing the light rather than reflecting it. Similar scenes played out in secret bases on Mars, inside the rings of Saturn, and beneath the ice of Neptune's largest moon. Earth's true fleet was waking up. In less than an hour, the 12 members of the United Earth Council had gathered in the war room deep beneath Geneva. They watched in silence as Carter showed them the footage from Nova Haven. "Who are they?" asked the council president, an older woman named Helen Garcia. "We don't know for certain," Carter replied, "but intelligence suggests they are the Krell. They've been expanding their territory at the edge of known space. They conquer less advanced worlds and strip them of resources." "They think we're defenseless," said another council member. "They've only seen our peacekeeping ships," Carter nodded. "They have no idea what they've just started." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what was being proposed. "Are you suggesting we activate the Retribution Protocol?" Garcia asked quietly. "Yes, Madam President, I am." The Retribution Protocol had been created 50 years ago when humans first met alien life. It outlined exactly what would happen if Earth or its colonies were ever attacked. The response would be swift, overwhelming, and final. "If we do this, there's no going back," Garcia said. "The galaxy will know our true strength. The deception we've maintained for generations will end. If we don't, Nova Haven falls. And after that, they'll come for our other colonies. Eventually, Earth itself," Carter replied. "The protocol exists for exactly this situation." Garcia looked at each council member in turn. "We need a vote. All in favor of activating the Retribution Protocol?" One by one, hands went up. The vote was unanimous. "Very well," Garcia said. "Admiral Carter, you are authorized to deploy the True Fleet, save our people on Nova Haven, Show these Krell who they're really dealing with. Carter left the war room immediately and went to a special command center that few people even knew existed. The walls were lined with advanced technology, far beyond what Earth officially admitted to having. He placed his hand on a scanner, then looked into a retinal. Reader, Admiral John Carter. Authentication code Sierra Tango 97 Delta Eco. Activate Project Ares. The computer system responded instantly. Authentication accepted. Project Ares activated. All dormant fleet units now at Level 1 alert. Awaiting. Deployment orders. Carter stepped onto a circular platform in the center of the room. Holographic displays surrounded him, showing the status of ships that officially didn't exist. This is Admiral Carter to all Retribution Fleet commanders. The time has come. Our colony at Nova Haven is under attack. You've trained for this moment. Your entire careers. Earth has been patient. Earth has been restrained. That ends today. Throughout the solar system, 20 massive warships began to move. Their black hulls were nearly invisible against the darkness of space. Each one was more powerful than entire fleets of the ships Earth had shown to the galaxy. Captain Kate Wilson sat in the command chair of the largest ship, the UESC Vengeance. Unlike the publicly known vessels with their white hulls and diplomatic markings, the Vengeance was built for one purpose only. All systems online, Captain, reported her second-in-command, Commander Alan Miller. Antimatter reactors at full power. Quantum shields active. Weapons systems ready. Wilson nodded, her eyes hard. She had commanded this ship in secret for 8 years, running drills and simulations, always prepared for a day she hoped would never come. Set course for Nova Haven, she ordered. Prepare the fleet for spacefold jump. As the mighty ships moved into formation, Admiral Carter watched from his command center on Earth. Soon the aliens who had dared attack a human colony would learn the truth. Earth wasn't weak. Earth wasn't defenseless. Earth had simply been waiting. And now, Earth would show the galaxy its true power. The UESC Vengeance moved silently through the darkness of space. Captain Kate Wilson stood on the bridge, watching as her crew prepared for the jump to Nova Haven. The ship was massive, 10 times larger than anything Earth had ever shown to other races. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it. Its weapons could destroy planets. All 20 ships report ready, Captain, said Commander Alan Miller. He had served with Wilson for 6 years. The fleet is in formation. Wilson nodded. Begin final countdown for spacefold jump. Spacefold technology was Earth's greatest secret. While other races used hyperdrives that took days or weeks to travel between stars, humans had developed a way to bend space itself. The fleet could reach Nova Haven in seconds, not days. Spacefold generators charging, reported the science officer, Lieutenant Olivia Green. Her fingers moved across the glowing control panel. Coordinates locked on Nova Haven, all ships synchronized. On the main screen, Wilson could see the other 19 ships of the Retribution fleet. Each was a masterpiece of human engineering. Each carried weapons that no alien race had ever seen before. For 50 years, these ships had remained hidden, waiting for a moment they hoped would never come. Captain, incoming transmission from Earth Command, Miller said. Admiral Carter's face appeared on the screen. Captain Wilson, you are cleared to proceed to Nova Haven. Your orders are simple: protect our colony and eliminate the threat. The Krell must learn that attacking humanity was a mistake. Understood, Admiral, Wilson replied. We will not fail. Carter's expression was grim. Once you arrive, there's no going back. The galaxy will know what we really are. Perhaps it's time they did, Wilson said. The Admiral nodded once, then disappeared from the screen. Wilson turned to her crew. They were the best of the best, selected secretly from Earth's military forces. For years they had trained in the shadows, learning to use technology that officially didn't exist. This is what we prepared for, she told them. Today we show the galaxy that humanity is not to be trifled with. Lieutenant Green looked up from her station. Spacefold generators at full power. Ready on your command. Wilson took a deep breath. This was a turning point for humanity. After today, the galaxy would never see Earth the same way again. Execute spacefold jump, The space around the fleet began to warp and twist. Stars stretched into lines of light. Then, with a flash that was visible even from Earth, all 20 ships vanished. An instant later, they appeared at the edge of the Tau Ceti system. Nova Haven's star glowed in the distance. "Jump complete," reported Miller. "All ships present and accounted for. No damage reported." "Tactical status of Nova Haven?" Wilson asked. Lieutenant Frank Lopez, the tactical officer, studied his screens. 5 Krell ships in orbit. They're still bombarding the colony. Life signs detected on the surface, but they're fading fast. Our people are dying down there. Wilson's face hardened. "Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat. Deploy quantum shields." Throughout the ship, crew members moved with practiced precision. Weapon systems came online. Defensive shields activated. Fighters prepared to launch. "Send a tight beam transmission to all ships," Wilson ordered. "Formation Delta. Approach at full sublight speed. We hit them hard and fast." The Retribution fleet moved toward Nova Haven, accelerating to speeds that would have torn conventional ships apart. The black hulls of the Earth vessels absorbed sensor scans from the Krell ships, making them nearly invisible against the blackness of space. "We'll be in weapon range in 30 seconds, Lopez reported. Wilson nodded. "Open a channel to the Krell vessels." The main screen changed to show a reptilian alien face. The Krell commander looked surprised to see a human. "This is Captain Kate Wilson of the United Earth Space Command vessel Vengeance. You are attacking an Earth colony. Cease fire immediately and withdraw from this system or you will be destroyed." The Krell commander made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your colony dies today, human. Your pitiful species has no weapons that can harm our ships. When we finish here, we will come for your homeworld." Wilson's expression didn't change. "You were warned." She cut the transmission and turned to her tactical officer. "Target their weapon systems first. Fire on my mark." The fleet was now within range. 20 Earth ships against 5 Krell vessels. But these weren't the simple peacekeeping ships the Krell had expected. These were Earth's true warships kept secret for generations. Fire. From the Vengeance, beams of coherent energy lashed out. They weren't the simple lasers that the galaxy knew humans to use. These were quantum disruptors, weapons that attacked the very atomic structure of their targets. The beams struck the first Krell ship. Its shields, which had easily repelled the colony's defensive weapons, simply vanished. The hull began to come apart at the molecular level, pieces floating away into space. The other Earth ships opened fire as well. 2 more Krell vessels were hit by gravity weapons that crushed them into balls of dense metal. A 4th was struck by missiles that didn't explode, but instead released nanobots that ate through the hull like acid. In less than 10 seconds, 4 of the 5 Krell ships had been destroyed. The 5th, the command vessel, was attempting to flee. "Disable that ship," Wilson ordered. "I want prisoners." A precision shot from the Vengeance took out the Krell ship's engines. It drifted helplessly in space. "Status of the colony?" Wilson asked. Lopez checked his readings. "Heavy casualties. The Eastern District is gone. But we have thousands of survivors in the western areas and underground shelters. Deploy medical teams and defensive units to the surface," Wilson ordered. "And prepare a boarding party for the Krell command ship. I want their officers brought to me." As shuttles launched toward the damaged colony, Wilson looked at the display showing the disabled Krell vessel. It had been so easy. The aliens had thought they were attacking a defenseless human outpost. Instead, they had awakened humanity's full might. "Captain," Miller said quietly, "we just changed everything. The galaxy will know now." Wilson nodded. "They should have left us alone." On Earth, Admiral Carter watched the battle through a quantum entanglement link that allowed real-time communication across light years. He saw the Krell ships destroyed in seconds. He saw the medical teams racing to help the colonists. The council members stood around him in stunned silence. Even they hadn't fully understood the power of the weapons they had authorized. "Send a message to all Earth colonies," Carter ordered. "The deception is over. Deploy the defensive fleets we've kept hidden, and prepare for whatever comes next." The Ho. United Earth Council members exchanged glances. For generations, humanity had hidden its true power from the galaxy. That era was now over. In space above Nova Haven, Captain Wilson prepared to meet the captured Krell commanders. She would explain to them exactly what they had done. They had attacked a species that had spent its entire history fighting and preparing for war. A species that had nearly destroyed itself before reaching the stars. A species that had learned to hide its teeth behind a smile, but never forgotten how to bite. The Krell prisoners were brought to the Vengeance's conference room. Captain Kate Wilson sat at the head of the large black table, waiting. Commander Alan Miller stood at her side, his face showing no emotion. The doors slid open. 4 Krell officers were led in by human guards wearing powered armor suits. The suits made the humans look twice their normal size. They moved with silent grace despite their bulk. The main Krell officer was larger than the others. His scales were darker, with red markings across his chest. This was Commander Drac, leader of the attack force. His hands were bound with energy, cuffs that glowed blue in the dim light. "Sit," Wilson said, pointing to the chairs. The Krell did not move at first. Drac stared at Wilson with yellow eyes that showed both anger and confusion. "How?" he finally asked. "How did you destroy my ships so easily? Your species has only simple defense technology. We studied you for years." Wilson smiled slightly. "You studied what we wanted you to see." She pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared showing Earth and its solar system. Then it expanded, to show human colonies on several planets around other stars. "For 50 years, humanity has shown the galaxy a mask," Wilson explained. "We let everyone believe we were newcomers to space travel, that our ships were basic, our weapons simple, that we were no threat to anyone." The hologram changed to show the true Earth fleet, hundreds of warships hidden throughout the solar system, massive defense platforms around every human world. "Weapon systems that could destroy entire planets. Why?" asked one of the other Krell officers. "Why hide your strength?" Miller spoke for the first time. "Because humans spent thousands of years fighting each other before we reached the stars. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times. When we finally united and met alien species, we made a choice. We would appear peaceful and weak," Wilson continued. "We would make friends, not enemies, but we would always be prepared for war." Drac's scales rippled with emotion. "The Krell Dominion controls 37 star systems. We have conquered 12 different species. Once our main fleet learns of this attack, they will come to crush you." Wilson didn't seem concerned. "Yes, about that." She pressed another button. A new transmission appeared on the screen behind her. It showed Admiral Carter standing in Earth's command center. "Captain Wilson, status report?" Carter asked. "The colony is secure, Admiral. We've taken prisoners, including the Krell commander. They're threatening us with their main fleet." Carter nodded. "I see. Perhaps our guests should know that while you were dealing with their attack force, we sent a message to the Krell homeworld." Wilson raised an eyebrow. "What kind of message, sir?" "A demonstration." Carter's face was serious. "Show them." The screen changed to show a star system Wilson didn't recognize. There was a red giant star with 7 planets. The 3rd planet had rings and many moons. Around it orbited a massive space station. "This is the Krell military headquarters in the Draxus system," Carter explained. Or rather, it was. A small object appeared at the edge of the system. It moved quickly toward the red giant star. When it reached the star's surface, there was a flash of light that forced everyone to look away. When they looked back, the star was collapsing in on itself. In seconds, the red giant had shrunk to a tiny point of incredibly dense matter. The gravity wave pulled in all the planets. The entire star system was gone. The Krell officers stared in horror. "Vacuum collapse weapon," Carter said calmly. "It changes the quantum state of space itself. We've had this technology for 30 years. You destroyed an entire star system?" Drac whispered. "An uninhabited one," Carter corrected. "The real Krell military headquarters is still there. This was just a demonstration in an empty system. But we could have done it to your actual headquarters. We know where it is. Drax slumped in his chair. The other Krell officers looked at each other in fear. Here is what will happen now, Wilson said. You will be returned to your people with a message. Earth and all human colonies are protected. Any attack on humans will result in the complete destruction of the attacker. Additionally, the Krell Dominion will free all the species it has conquered. Impossible, Drax shouted. The Dominion will never agree. Carter's face was like stone. Then the Dominion will cease to exist. We have the coordinates of every major Krell world. We can end your entire civilization without losing a single human life. You would commit genocide? One of the Krell officers asked quietly. No, Wilson said firmly. We don't want to destroy anyone, but we will not allow you to harm us or others. The choice is yours. On the surface of Nova Haven, human rescue teams worked to save the colonists. Medical ships had arrived from Earth, bringing advanced equipment and doctors. Special engineering units were already rebuilding the damaged areas of the colony. Frank Peters, a farmer who had lived on Nova Haven for 10 years, watched in amazement as Earth soldiers in powered armor lifted huge pieces of broken buildings, with ease. The soldiers had appeared just in time to save his family when the Krell ground forces were breaking into their shelter. I never knew we had technology like this, he said to his wife Mary, who stood beside him. None of us did, she replied. All those stories about Earth keeping secrets, they were true. A soldier approached them. Without the helmet, Frank could see it was a young woman with short blonde hair. Mr. and Mrs. Peters? I'm Sergeant Lisa Daniels. Your home was destroyed in the attack. We've set up temporary housing units for everyone who lost their homes. If you'll come with me, I can show you where you'll be staying until your house is rebuilt. How long will that take? Mary asked. Sergeant Daniels smiled. With our construction units? About 3 days. Frank's eyes widened. 3 days to build a whole house? Yes, sir. The nanite construction systems can work pretty fast. It's another technology we kept hidden until now. As they walked through the colony, Frank saw more examples of technology he never knew existed. Vehicles that floated above the ground without any visible means of propulsion. Energy weapons that could cut through metal like it was paper. Medical devices that healed injuries almost instantly. In orbit above the planet, the Vengeance remained on guard. Captain Wilson watched the rescue operations from the bridge. Message from Admiral Carter, Captain, Miller reported. Put him through. Carter's face appeared on the screen. The United Earth Council has made its decision. The deception is over. All Earth colonies are being informed of our true technological level. Defense fleets are being deployed openly to all human settlements. And the Krell, Wilson asked, they'll be returned to their people tomorrow with our terms. We expect they'll accept. Our intelligence suggests they're already pulling back from several conquered worlds. Wilson nodded. And what happens now? The galaxy will look at us differently. Yes, Carter agreed. Some will fear us. Others will seek our protection. But no one will threaten humanity again. And perhaps, now that we don't need to hide, we can use our technology to help other species instead of just protecting ourselves. As the sun set over Nova Haven, the colonists gathered in the main square for a meal provided by Earth relief ships. They spoke in excited voices about the future, about a humanity that no longer needed to hide its strength, about a galaxy that would never be the same. On the Vengeance, Captain Wilson stood at the viewport looking down at the planet. Humanity had revealed its true face to the stars. She hoped it would lead to peace. But if not, Earth was ready. 1 week after the attack on Nova Haven, Admiral John Carter stood before the United Earth Council in the Grand Meeting Hall in Geneva. The room was filled with representatives from every Earth nation and colony. The mood was tense, but excited. The Krell Dominion has accepted our terms, Carter announced. His voice echoed through the large chamber. They have begun withdrawing from all conquered worlds. Their leadership council has agreed to meet with us to discuss a permanent peace treaty. President Helen Garcia nodded with satisfaction. And the Nova Haven colony? Fully rebuilt, Carter replied. Our construction units finished the work yesterday. The colony is now protected by a defensive fleet and shield generators. No one will catch them unprepared again. A council member from the African Union stood up. What about the other species that were under Krell control? What happens to them now? Carter pressed a button on his podium. A holographic map appeared, showing 37 star systems that had been part of the Krell Dominion. 12 of them were highlighted in blue. These are worlds with native intelligent species that were conquered by the Krell. Some have been under Krell rule for generations. They will need help rebuilding their societies and governments. Earth has offered assistance. Another council member, this one from East Asia, spoke up. And what if some of these freed species decide that humans are a threat? We've just shown the galaxy that we've been lying about our technology level for decades. They might not trust us. It was a fair question. Carter had been thinking about this problem since the battle at Nova Haven. That's why I'm proposing a new approach, he said. For too long we've hidden our true capabilities out of fear. Now I suggest we use our technology to help others, not just to defend ourselves. He pressed another button. The hologram changed to show advanced Earth medical equipment, farming technology, and clean energy systems. We have the power to end hunger, cure diseases, and provide clean energy throughout the galaxy. Let's show everyone that humanity's strength isn't just in our weapons, but in our compassion as well. The council chamber erupted in applause. After decades of secrecy, Earth was ready to step forward as a leader among the stars. On the Krell, homeworld, Commander Drax stood before the Dominion High Council. The 7 eldest and most powerful Krell leaders glared down at him from their raised platform. You have brought shame to the Dominion, said the first elder, his voice deep and angry. You attacked a human colony without proper intelligence. Now we must surrender territories we spent centuries conquering. Drax lowered his head. The humans deceived us all, First Elder. Their ships, their weapons. They were far beyond anything we expected. Explain again what you witnessed, demanded the second elder. This weapon that destroyed an entire star system. Drax described the vacuum collapse weapon again. He had watched it erase a star and its planets in seconds. The memory still filled him with dread. And they claim to have the coordinates of all our major worlds? Asked the third elder. Yes, High One. They could destroy our entire civilization without risking a single human life. The council chamber fell silent. For generations, the Krell had believed themselves to be one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. Now they had discovered that humans, a species they had dismissed as unimportant, could wipe them out with ease. We have no choice, the first elder finally said. We must accept the human terms, free our subject worlds, sign their peace treaty. For the first time in the history of the Krell Dominion, they would surrender without a fight. On a small planet called Viridian, the native population celebrated their first day of freedom in 200 years. The Viridians were slender beings with blue skin and 4 arms. They had been one of the first species conquered by the Krell. Now they watched as Krell ships left their world. In their place came human vessels bringing food, medicine, and technology to help rebuild what had been destroyed. Ilar, the eldest of the Viridian Council, watched the humans with curiosity and caution. One of them approached, a woman in a blue uniform with silver stars on her shoulders. I am Captain Kate Wilson of Earth, she said, bowing slightly in the Viridian style. We've brought supplies and assistance for your people. Eller studied her carefully. Why would you help us? You don't know us. We have nothing to offer in return. Wilson smiled. Because it's the right thing to do. The Krell hurt you. We stopped them. Now we want to help you rebuild. The Krell told us humans were primitive and weak, Eller said. Now we learn you have the power to destroy stars. Why did you hide your strength for so long? Wilson's face grew serious. Humans have a violent history. Before we reached the stars, we nearly destroyed ourselves many times. When we finally united and met other species, we decided to be careful, to watch and learn before revealing our true nature. And now? Ilar asked. Now we hope to be friends, not conquerors. We have technology that can help your people and many others. Earth wants peace and cooperation, not war. Alar considered this. A species that has the power to rule, but chooses to help instead. This is unexpected. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter met with Captain Wilson in his office overlooking Lake Geneva. The sun was setting, painting the water gold and red. The Galactic Council has called an emergency meeting, Carter said. Representatives from 53 species will attend. They want Earth to explain itself. Wilson nodded. They're afraid of us now. Yes, Carter agreed, and afraid of what we might do with our technology. Will you tell them everything about our other weapons? The defense systems we still haven't revealed? Carter looked out the window at the peaceful lake. No, some secrets should remain just that. But we'll show them enough to make our position clear. Earth wants peace, but we will never again appear weak or vulnerable. The President has asked you to lead our delegation, he continued, turning back to Wilson. Your actions at Nova Haven saved thousands of lives. You showed both our strength and our restraint. Wilson was surprised. Me? I'm a ship captain, not a diplomat. You're a symbol now, Carter explained. The face of the new Earth, strong but compassionate, powerful but just as they spoke, all across Earth and its colonies, humanity was adjusting to its new role in the galaxy. For generations, they had pretended to be less than they were. Now, finally, the mask was off. In orbit above Earth, the massive shipyards that had been hidden for so long were now visible to all. But they were no longer building only warships. New vessels were taking shape: hospital ships, scientific research vessels, and humanitarian aid cruisers. Earth had shown the galaxy its teeth. Now it was time to show its heart as well. 6 months after the battle at Nova Haven, Captain Kate Wilson stood on a raised platform in the Grand Assembly Hall of the newly formed Galactic Alliance. Representatives from 62 different species filled the massive chamber. Some were old powers that had known each other for centuries. Others were newly freed from Krell control. Wilson wore her formal Earth uniform, dark blue with silver trim. At her side stood Admiral Carter and President Garcia. They represented humanity before the gathered species of the galaxy. The Supreme Speaker, a tall being with golden skin named Shiru, called the assembly to order. This historic day marks the formation of the Galactic Alliance, Shiru announced. His voice was translated through small devices that each representative wore. For too long, the galaxy has been divided. The strong preyed upon the weak, the Krell Dominion conquered without mercy. But the balance of power has shifted. All eyes turn to the human delegation. Humanity has revealed itself to be more than we thought, Shiru continued. Their power could have been used to dominate us all. Instead, they chose to liberate the oppressed and offer peace to their enemies. The Krell representative, not commander, Drac but a diplomatic officer named Lorne, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The Krell were allowed into the Alliance, but on probation. Their empire was gone, their military reduced to a defense force only. President Garcia stepped forward to address the assembly. People of the galaxy, she began, her voice firm and clear. For 50 years, humanity hid its true nature from you. We pretended to be less than we were. Some might call this deception. We called it caution. She paused, looking across the sea of alien faces. Humans evolved on a world where we were not the strongest, not the fastest. We survived through intelligence, cooperation, and preparation. When we began exploring space, we brought these traits with us. Garcia gestured to the massive view screen behind her. It showed images of Earth's history, scenes of war and destruction, but also of healing and building. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times before we reached the stars. We learned the hard lesson that great power must be balanced with great wisdom. When we met other species, we decided to watch and learn before revealing our full capabilities. The screen changed to show Earthships bringing aid to former Krell subjects, human doctors treating alien wounded, Earth engineers helping rebuild damaged worlds. The attack on Nova Haven forced our hand, Garcia continued. We had to reveal our strength to protect our people, but now we offer that same protection to all peaceful species. Not as conquerors, but as partners. From the Krell section, Representative Lorne stood. The room grew tense. The Krell had been humbled but were still feared by many. The Krell Dominion ruled through power alone, Lorne said. We believed strength was the only virtue worth respecting. Humans proved us wrong. They defeated us not just with superior weapons, but with wisdom we lacked. He looked directly at the human delegation. My people are learning from our mistakes. The Dominion is no more. In its place, we hope to build something better. Something worthy of joining this alliance as equals someday. Captain Wilson was next to speak. She had become famous across the galaxy after leading the fleet that defeated the Krell attack force. Many species saw her as a hero. Others feared her as the face of Earth's military might. I am a soldier, she began simply. I was trained to protect my people, but the best victory is the one that needs no fighting. Earth revealed its weapons at Nova Haven. Now we wish to reveal something more important. Our hopes for the future. Wilson nodded to Admiral Carter, who pressed a control on his wrist device. The view screen changed again, showing plans for joint scientific missions, open technology sharing, and cooperative defense agreements. We propose a new beginning, Wilson continued. Earth will share advances in medicine, agriculture, and clean energy with all Alliance members. Our fleets will help patrol trade routes and protect developing worlds. In return, we ask only for friendship and honest dealings. The chamber erupted in applause. Most species in the galaxy had something to gain from Earth's proposal. Some remained cautious, but the majority were eager for the benefits of human technology. After the meeting, Wilson walked through the gardens outside the assembly hall. The two alien plants were beautiful, with colors humans had never seen before. She found a quiet spot with a view of the 3 moons that orbited the Alliance homeworld. Admiral Carter joined her, looking tired but satisfied. The treaty passed unanimously, he said. The Alliance is formed. Earth is recognized as a major power, but with limits on our military deployment. It's a good compromise. Wilson nodded. And our secret projects? The things we still haven't revealed? They remain secret, Carter replied. The vacuum collapse weapon has been officially retired. Most of our Phase 3 technologies will stay in storage unless needed. Do you think we'll need them? Carter looked up at the stars. The galaxy is vast. The Krell weren't the only threat out there. But now peace has a chance. On Nova Haven, life had returned to normal. The colony had been fully rebuilt, better than before. New defensive systems were hidden beneath the surface, ready if needed, but invisible to casual observers. Frank and Mary Peters walked through their new home. It was larger than their old one, with better systems for farming their land. Earth, technology that had once been secret, was now improving lives across human space. Do you think they'll come back? Mary asked her husband as they watched the sunset from their porch. The Krell, or someone else? Frank shook his head. I don't think anyone will bother humans again. Not after what happened here. In space above the colony, Earth ships patrolled quietly. They were no longer disguised as simple vessels. Their true power was visible for all to see. A warning to any who might threaten humanity or its allies. And deep in the hidden research bases of Earth, scientists continued their work, developing technologies even more advanced than what had been revealed. Not for conquest, but for protection, because humanity had learned through bitter experience that peace was precious and fragile. The galaxy now knew Earth's strength, but it was beginning to learn something more important: Earth's wisdom. The wisdom to know when to show power, when to hide it, and when to use it not for dominance, but for the greater good of all. In her quarters aboard the Vengeance, Captain Wilson looked at a small plant from Nova Haven that a colonist had given her. It had survived the attack, growing from the ashes of destruction. Like humanity, it appeared delicate, but was remarkably strong. This is just the beginning, she said, to herself, watching the stars through her viewport. Humanity's true journey among the stars had finally begun.